stand to fight to do the self-defense. And some of their brothers who was in FRDC, which is the army of DRC, they left that army to join their fellow brothers to fight for their survival. We don't have an intervention. That's why we call the UN to come, or the other countries of Africa to come to interfere to save their life.
But we've seen efforts, especially from the East African region under the ICRAF brigade that was in Democratic Republic of Congo, and they were able to at least ensure that M23 does not affect and continue attacking the people. So how has ICRAF helped the situation, given that we do know they left the country, but how did they help the situation?
Before, the East African Army was there in North Kivu to fight against M23. But for a while, they chased them that they are not fighting M23. For really, you know, I'm not here to represent M23 or any other political party. I'm saying in my introduction, you didn't mention that I'm a journalist.
Yes, you're a journalist.
But a journalist, I'm a voice of the voiceless. That's why I'm here. So in DRC, when the East African went there to help DRC, because they went to help the FRDC, the arm of DRC. After being there, they realized that these people are persecuted. There's no reason to fight them. They stand between the DRC army and M23. Now, the Congolese people, population, complained that we invited you to chase away M23, and they are calling them that they are not Congolese. They have to go back. Because of that, they chase the East African. They invited SADC. For now, there is the SADC, which is headed by South Africa. In SADC, there is the arm of Tanzania, Malawi, I think, and South Africa. So for now, there is some dialogue which is going on, because, as you know, this war cannot be finished by the gun. That's why we are begging the DRC to understand that the only solution in DRC is to encourage the peace talks. But the forces of M23 or the other group of self-defense that I told you, they are there. Once they attack them, they reply. But not, they can't attack the government of Congo. Yes.
So what is lacking, given that you've just said that there is dialogue? Is it the creation of awareness that is not happening properly, so as to educate the public, as well as these groups that are forming within the DRC, so as to achieve what the dialogue wants to achieve? Because I'm sure the dialogue wants to achieve peace at the end of the day. So is there a lack of creation of awareness in the country?
I think it's the government of Congo does not want to accept the revendication of these minority people. I think they have done almost 3 meetings here in Nairobi, led by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. There's another dialogue in Angola. They are trying to see how they can bring peace and security. But what they agree, the agreement that they agree, the government of DRC does not want to put it in practice. That's the problem. Even today, if the DRC government can, the current government can accept what they are requesting, I think immediately the war can be stopped and the stability can be recovered in DRC. Yes.
Maybe explain to our viewers who are watching you and in this country, why is the Democratic Republic of Congo very vital, especially when it comes to resources, given that you're very rich when it comes to resources? In terms of the resources you have as a country, one would think that the conflict, sometimes people are taking advantage of that conflict to mine the minerals and the rich resources you have in your country.
That's one of the problems which is causing wars in DRC. It's because of its resources. But I think DRC is not the only country which has resources. We have more countries. But me, according to my point of view, DRC has the weakness of leadership. the leadership of DRC is in failure, because as long as they have that riches, it's not the reason to kill people. That would be the chance or an opportunity to create better life for their population. But there is something behind the leadership of DRC which is causing that problem. The rich is there, the gold and the whatever that you are hearing. But why those people come and they kill the Congolese? Because of this riches. My brother, let me tell you, me, I'm a Congolese. I'm a refugee here almost 10 years. Here we are over 40,000 Congolese from DRC, from different tribes. Once you go in Uganda, you go in Burundi, we are so many. In Rwanda, so we are tired. We want to go back in our country. We want to enjoy our resources, as you said. Why the foreigners can come in our country to exploit what we have? And because of that bad leadership. So we want the change. We have to cry for the world to come and encourage that talk so that we may restore the situation. Yes.
And how, given that you've just said you are internally displaced, you have been here for a number of years, I'm sure the figures you've just said, and people will increase by the day, given that the conflicts are happening there. So how have you been faring in these countries that you're residing, aside from Democratic Republic of Congo, in Uganda, Kenya, or even Tanzania? How are what are the people telling you residing in those countries?
Generally, in DRC, there is a big problem of tribalism, as I told you before, especially in the east of Congo. Those people who are dying, they kill them because of how they look, the language that they speak. You see, some of them speak Kinyarwanda, and it's related, because you cannot translate for a Burundian or Rwandese or those Tutsi Congolese, and we share like the same language. So they kill them because of how they look. So especially in the east of DRC, this has started for long. For me, from my childhood, I have never found peace in my country. I was born seeing people running away to search for refugees, where they can find shelter. So myself, I was come here in 2016. I found so many people. Children was being separated with their parent. So now, you asked me, once we come here, most of us are looking where they can get the settlement. They send them abroad in Canada, US, Australia. Others, you see, I told you, I have already 10 years. You see, in those 10 years here, it's very hard to afford education. It's very hard to put your dreams in action. So we are dying, and when we are alive. That's why we are trying to see how we can finish this problem so that we go back. Even those who are in the US, they don't have value. They don't have rights like others. They are refugees. So our homeland is our priority. We want to go back, and we are many. Yes.
And of course, given that the world leaders are currently congregating at the United General Assembly, we do understand a few of your colleagues and brethren will be picketing outside the UN General Assembly. So what are you hoping to achieve from that picketing?
I think it's today and tomorrow. Our fellow brothers from US, Canada, Australia, they are going to the headquarters of UN to demonstrate, to tell the UN that they have to contribute in this issue. So it's not only in US. We always demonstrate. Even here, even in Rwanda, last time they demonstrated. So, but you know, as UN, as a big organization which unites all these states, they are going now there to complain, to tell them that we need our right, we need the change. We are tired for this leadership which discriminates their people. In fact, they are going to all this we are talking about, they are going to explain to the UN headquarters, and they know, but they ignore. They are in silent, looking people dying, a silent genocide in our country. I think this can bring the change as they go there and and show the world what's going on. Yeah.
And we have seen instances not just in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Would you say Democratic Republic of Congo has been denied that awareness and visibility as compared to the conflicts that are happening, not to compare because they are disasters at the end of the day, what happened between Russia and Ukraine and what is currently happening between Israel and Palestine? Would you say the visibility on the Democratic Republic of Congo has shrunk in these latest wars that we have been witnessing?
There is something which I forget to mention in this demonstration. You know, for now, the Democratic Republic of Congo is applying to join the UN Security Council.
Yes.
So
as a non-permanent member.
Yeah, I think they need one country from Africa. So they are applying to join. But I wonder how a country which is not able to solve his problem, to solve the problem in his country, how it can go and accepted to join the Security Council. I think Congo does not deserve that. So they have first to change the situation in the country to maintain peace and security. So now, as you say, the mission of these organizations from UN and others like African Union is to protect the human right, to maintain peace and security. But they know the situation in DRC. But as I told you, why once there is a war in Palestine and Israel, all media, this international media, they broadcast the news. But in Congo, I think we are going to share one video here. It's a documentary of 7 minutes. You see what's happening in Congo. You can't imagine. So, as we stand to advocate, to speak out, to amplify our voices from the UN and the other organizations, from the region countries to interfere. That's why we are here. And we will still complain until we die, even our generation, our kids, until when we find the right in our country. Yeah.
And you saw what happened in Kenya just a few months ago. The youths of this country decided to take action and ensure they called power to accountability and responsibility. So will we be seeing that in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where the young, the youths, given that we are many in this African continent, taking up charge?
You know, Kenya has a good politics. Kenya is an example in this country. And I consider Kenya like the capital of West Africa. I love Gen Z. I've seen every situation. You know, everywhere the change comes through the young people. Me, I'm a Pan-African, and they have a movement which we are fighting to create the better future for Africa. So Gen Z stood and they did demonstration, and what they are complaining, the president changed what he was planning to do. But it's different because you have justice in this country, which is different to mine. There, if you try to demonstrate, they shoot you. Even if you're 100 people, you die, and nobody will follow up. That's why we need also the justice to work, to do their work in my country. The people tried to demonstrate, but I think they killed them. We have so many people in prison because there is no right of speech. And that is against the human right. So it's different to Kenya. Kenya must be an example for other countries. Yeah.
And of course, if you're just joining us, we're discussing what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo, the civil war that has continued for a decade long, that has not just displaced people, but has seen so many people killed and others being now internally displaced in various countries, in neighboring countries of East Africa, and some have even been forced to even go further afield. And of course, approximately 6 million people have been killed since 1996, and more than 6 million people remain internally displaced in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. And currently we are speaking to a journalist, that is Bonfils Muhumure, who has come here today to just tell us the situation on the ground and what will be transpiring for the next 2 days at the United Nations General Assembly that is currently happening in New York. He just told us that some of their brethren will be picketing outside the General Assembly to just get the attention of the world leaders who have congregated at the Assembly. And of course, you can also reach out to us if you're just watching us. Talk to us on our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 as well as at Abdiaziz Hashim 1. And now, Bonfils, we're talking about what kind of support, what is required right now, what is very essential that if the people who are residing not just in North Kivu but the Democratic Republic of Congo will benefit from. What is the dire need right now? And if it is addressed, at least it will alleviate the situation that they are facing right now.
First of all, we demand the UN to do the investigation of what is going on in DRC. Because everything that they do is public. You will see some of the great politicians spreading the hate speech against those minority, and they are in government. Those people must be punished. I can say like Mr. Honorable Bitakwira, and he's in the parliament of Congo. Is a man who spread the hate among Congolese. There is another minister called Nzangi Muhindo. He's in the government. Those people must be followed and take them to justice. You see, once they tell them that these people are not Congolese like others, they start to kill each other. Everybody die, both sides. And you know, in DRC we have almost 460-something tribes, and we have different languages. So, but if you can see here in Kenya, we have different tribes from DRC. We live good. We don't fight. Why? It's because this country has the strong leadership more than different to my country. So we call upon the UN to interfere to take those people in justice. Number two, we beg this organization to bring the aid to our people, to help them, because they are suffering. They don't have food. They don't have medical care. The problem is there, but the main is the life. We want the life. We want to live like other Congolese. We are human like others. They have to condemn God who created us, the way we look. But why can you kill someone because of how he looks? That's amazing. So the UN is there. The priority and what is emergency, we need peace and security. We need life. We need development like others.
And of course, we can't confirm the Honorable you just mentioned. We cannot confirm what he said because we don't have the clips to us.
I can show you.
Yes, you'll show me afterwards, but we cannot ascertain that. Those are your own views. But am I not have the right to mention people here? Yes. Because what they do it publicly in the media. Wait. At the end of the day, you know you're a journalist. If you cannot ascertain what that person said, on my end, as a corporation, this is the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, if we cannot verify that information, we would have done so. We could have said it, yes, this is what he said. At least if we would have had the clip, we could have played for you. But aside from mentioning them, let's focus on the real issues that are currently facing the people. Yes, and of course, and how effective has the East African bloc, aside from ICRAF, what other supports have you received from these other countries that are your neighbors?
I can say when you are attacked, when you are killed, you ask the help from wherever. Whoever who feel that favor to come and help you, you welcome him. So East Africa, I think, as I told you, this intergovernmental organization, they are there to promote peace. So I think if let's say, take an example, Congo has the neighbors country like Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania. Once there is a war in DRC, I think the people of Tanzania or Burundi cannot be stable also. So instead of helping us, there are some of those countries who are now helping Congo to kill those minority. I can say for now there is the army of Burundi is united with this FRDC, the army of Congo. They are fighting against those minority. And there is some others, I don't know if they are doing something, but what I know is this East African which was there, and for now they are back. And when they was there, they showed the reality. They realized the truth that we are selling because they was on the field. So any other support that they are giving for now, I'm not sure. Yeah.
And how are the civilians on the ground behaving like? What are they saying? What are they telling you? And how at least are they cooperating every day? Because we know the mental, the psychological effects that are happening when it comes to the humanitarian crisis that is currently facing them. So how are they faring on, in short?
The civilian does not have problem. There is a time they used to live well, in love. You see those people, let's focus in the east region of east part of DRC.
Yes.
Those communities who are living there, they share the same church, same school. Some of them are farmers, others are pastoralists. They understand each other using their language. You can find a Munyamuleng speaking to a Bembe, or a Bembe speaking to, they can hear each other. Like me, where I did my secondary school, it was not in my community, and life was good. But because of this politician, they changed their ideology. You see, someone you share, you live in the same village, is the one who will attack and burn your house, steal your cows. You see, that's the problem. So I can say that for now, they don't cooperate well like as before. But I can send them a message of changing that mentality. You see, we need all peace. We need to live together as brothers, as Congolese. What they are lying to them that they can chase away those people and live in their country, it's impossible. They tried this, I told you before I was born, but they failed. Unless all the side people die. So it's time to know the truth, that these politicians, they are extremists. They are fighting for their own interests. But as civilians, we have to unite us and see what is important for everyone to live in love as before, as we lived before.
Bonfils will be coming back with that discussion. We need to take a short commercial break, and on the other side of the break, the conversation continues. We're still keeping an eye on various events that are happening here in the country and across our borders. Currently, we're focusing on the civil war that is currently happening at the Democratic Republic of Congo. As and when we get more details on this, we'll duly inform you. But for now, we need to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with our discussion. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. We're still on with our conversation on what is happening at the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now we want to get a bird's eye view and the people who are residing in other countries. If you just joined us, we were speaking to Bonfils Muhumure. He is a journalist from the Democratic Republic of Congo, but was internally displaced due to the civil war and is currently residing here in the country. He has resided here for more than 10 years. And of course, we had engaged him earlier and told us there are other people who are residing in other places aside from the countries bordering the East African region as well, in the continent and further in other continents. Now joining us via Zoom is none other than Manzi Willie, an organizer of the New York demonstration. He is from Canada. Thank you so much for making time for us, Willie. And we've just learned that we will be seeing some of your brethren going to the United Nations General Assembly to pick it outside so that they can bring the agenda of the Congolese people to the world leaders. I had posed this question to Bonfils. I'm still posing this question to you, Willie. What are you seeking to achieve outside the United Nations General Assembly?
Thank you very much for giving me this time. As you know, United Nations General Assembly is where the leaders of the world are basically uniting to discuss the issues around the world. But as you know, we feel the Congolese should not be represented by what we call a genocide leader, the person who's killing his own people, killing who have done things that are all over the place on social media. For example, you have seen the killings in Goma, where the government has armed civilians called Wazarendo and turned around and killed them. You have seen the prison of Makala, where the armed forces entered the prison and massacred everybody. You are seeing people who are doing cannibalism because of people happen to be Tutsi people just because they have born in Congo. You have seen people who are massacring animals, domestic animals, because they belong to Tutsis. We feel United Nations should not be a place where such leaders, the Hitlers of our era, of our modern time, should not be sitting just in the nations, an institution that was created to look or to make sure that the world have a peace, should not be accommodating a genocide people. So what we are looking to achieve in the United Nations, there is, for example, we believe that United Nations have a capability against the Congolese government to easy or to seize all the abuse of the power, because we believe that the Congolese government is a failed state. We believe that imposing government of Congo sanctions and to indict some of its leaders to be accountable for the human rights abuses that they have been exercising for last many years could be achieved at the United Nations. We request the United Nations office to consider the serious its responsibility to repatriate families living abroad who have spent over 30 years in refugee camp just because they were denied the right to access the right as other citizens in their own countries. We think that, you live with these refugees. Like in Kakuma, there is Congolese refugees who happen to be just in a camp without hope of when they will return home. There is refugees in Rwanda. There is refugees in Uganda, in Ethiopia. There is refugees in Burundi. All these people have been denied the right to go back to their country. We request the UN Security Office, the UN United Nations Office to initiate and support this repatriation for these people to go back, to support the initiative that will bring back the visionary leaders of our nations, because the current state is a failed state. If I may summarize, these are the things that we would wish to achieve at the United Nations.
Mm-hmm. And Willie, this is the question, this is the million-dollar question. Do you think these world leaders will hear some of the petitions and irreducible minimums you've just stated there? Are they going to give you a listening ear?
We believe that we initiated this peaceful demonstration, and we hope that any sensible leaders will heed to our plea, because we have been saying these are things that are happening in our country. As you can see, for example, Eastern DRC have been on violence for over 30 years, but even the current leader who is in power is having a hard time or refusing to have a dialogue with the people who are fighting in Eastern DRC, who have grievances, whose families are still in refugee camp. I am not sure whose leader is basically comfortable to see these things are happening to the great Africa. This genocide is happening in Africa. I don't know whose leaders will be always comfortable to sit next to people who are doing such atrocities. I believe that we may not be heard, but what can happen is that we will be able to continue pressuring these governments to take appropriate measures against this government that is about to turn our great Congo into just a violence battleground. That's what we hope we will get. We are not going to give up until we get what we want.
And really, aside from the support you're receiving from the East African region and the African continent as a whole, don't you think the main dire issue that should be given precedence is aid delivery to some of the people who are affected in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo?
Thank you very much for these questions. I remember when some of the people who, when the violence broke in 2001, there were people who were of the tribe of Tutsi. Some went in a place called Buiza, other people went in a place called Goma. But can you believe that these people, even when they were seeking aids like everybody else, they were denied these aids until when their families across the diaspora started offering whatever they had. Congolese government is not capable of protecting anything. So, for instance, the refugees, the internally displaced people who are in Ngunga, they have been protesting because even that small amount of food they were getting, the FRDC or the military national army were taking it from them. Some military, recently when United States asked for basically a truce for the people to get some help. Can you imagine that the Congolese government refused to offer this truce that people could be able to access for these aids that could be offered to them? So Congolese government is not capable of protecting even those who are going to offer the food to its own citizens. We have seen in Butembo, a place called Butembo, and Beni being massacred. You have seen some of the aid organizations, their workers, aid workers, were killed while helping the people. So this could be a good idea, but will it be achieved? I don't.
Okay, Willie, aside from the protests that you have planned in the New York, outside the United Nations General Assembly, we do know that there are others you had organized for, you had picketed in various parts of the world, but what did those strikes achieve to the greater cause of ensuring that DRC gets peace?
As you know, I go by the principle of the Bible, where this woman who was a widow was asking the help from a judge. And at a certain point, because this judge was not offering the support that this woman was looking for, until it was a point where she persistently going to seek this help, until this judge decided that even if I'm not helping this widow, I love her or I like her, the support, because I need peace. As myself, many other thousands in the world who are refugees are done is something years when nobody is taking care of our country. Nobody cares. Nobody is seeing what's happening in our country. Even for these massacres that has committed by the Congolese government, it is a shame to see that there is no one single media have reported it. When done and recorded on camera. The cannibalism that is happening in Congo, I don't see any country, any mainstream media talk. Can we, as a citizen, continue to sit and watch? I think it is our responsibility to stand and resist this kind of behavior that the regime is doing. We have seen enough violence since we were kids until I have kids now myself. When I left my country, I was 8 years old. Now I have a child who is almost 8 years old. Can you imagine if it was you who left his own country, leaving everything, every memory behind, and you don't even know on when you will go back in your country? So we are going to persistently reminding the world that this is a responsibility of international community plus our citizens to take back our country, to make sure that everybody is safe in their country. They're back from the and go back in their country if they wish to. But we should not be comfortable sitting down and wait for what will happen when nobody's doing anything about it.
Mm-hmm. And Willie, as we're coming into our conversation, one key question, Bonfils has just told us how many people are residing, especially from Congo, within the East African region. There in Canada and New York and other parts of the country, do you have the statistics? And finally, what will justice and peace look like for you in the Democratic of Congo?
Thank you very much. I do not have statistics of the people who are across the world. There are many. There are many in thousands. In Rwanda alone, in the refugee camps, we have over 100,000 in Rwanda alone. Uganda, we are over some 400,000. I had these numbers. I don't know if I'm United in the Europe and in the other parts of the world. But if I may answer the question, what this will look like, in my view, peace will allow people to live in their country and strive for life like everybody is doing. For instance, imagine Kenya, a country of Kenya, because that's what I will talk, because that's where.
Mm-hmm. And we apologize for that technical glitch. That is Willie Manzi speaking to us from all the way from Canada, just to talk about the conversation that we're having, the dilemma that is currently happening within the Democratic Republic of Congo. And of course, you've just heard from Willie there. They have vowed to go outside the United General Assembly, where the world leaders are convening, to at least voice some of their concerns and urge for support for the greater Democratic Republic of Congo and of course the East African region. Bonfils, we're coming back to you. And now as we're entering the final stage of our conversation, the same question that I've posed to Willie: what will peace look like for you in DRC?
I think I want to add something, to mention something for the last question you asked him about the statistics of the people who are dying in DRC. That's very hard to answer, because people die. At least 15 persons can die daily in DRC. So it's very hard to get the statistic, because people die daily, you see. Now, coming to your question, what peace will look like? I think when we can be lucky to find peace in DRC, DRC can be like the paradise, because there is everything in DRC. The world needs that country. That's why you will see many countries want to cause wars using the communities, civilian, because they want to steal the resources of DRC. But, and you know, DRC is big, almost 24 provinces. There is some provinces where there is peace. It's not everywhere.
Yes.
Here we speak about east of DRC, but there is some other thing. Even in the capital, Kinshasa, it's different. But now, we are first to found the peace. After that peace, all these refugees that we are telling you can go back to their country. Even those who are in the US, they are tired. So once we get peace, I think the priority to us will be the repatriation for our people who are in the neighboring countries here to go back and go to stay in their motherland, getting back their value, their right. So that's all about what I can say about the peace.
Now give us your final remarks, given that not just Congolese are watching you, the whole of the East African region is watching you right now. What will be your message of hope, not just to the Congolese, but to the East African region when it comes to what is happening at DRC?
What I want to tell my fellow Africans is that we need to be one as Africans. We need to have that spirit of Pan-Africanism, because once you go in Europe, you will find Europe is one. They love each other. They don't ask visa to cross the border wherever you go using this Schengen visa. So that's what we need in Africa, to see each other like brothers. If there is a problem in DRC, these leaders of East Africa and others must walk up and go to help this population of DRC to bring back, to restore the security and the stability in DRC. So that's what I can say, because DRC has so many problems which is not spread out there, which they don't know. But let them go investigate, realize what's happening, this discrimination, this tribalism, this killing, silent genocide, and to help those people in every ways, to assist them in what they need. But the priority for now, we are fighting for our survival. We want the help from wherever, to everyone who is listening to us from Africa and across the world.
Thank you so much, Bonfields. Let me also get the final remarks from Willie Manzi, all the way from Canada. Willie, we apologize we lost you there, given that there were technical glitches there, but give us your final remarks in just 1 minute, a message of hope, not just to the Congolese, but to the Africans as well.
Thank you very much again for the opportunity. The final remark is that we are calling to the entire world, in particularly East Africa, to rise up. When Rwanda was going through genocide, the world was watching, only to say sorry after the fact that 1 million Tutsis were perished. Today we are saying the cannibalism is happening across the border. We are saying the people, Hema people, Anyamulenge people, the Tutsi people, and even those people who were used against the other tribes are now being massacred. East Africa cannot afford to again sit down, and we want the world to rise up and listen. And it's not about anybody. It's about those that are being perished in across the border. We'll be going to trade, doing everything that other nations are doing. We want the world to understand that there is people who have been living in refugee camps for 30 years, and they don't have a government who will call them back home. We want the world to understand that these people need to access their land. These people need to go back home. These people need peace. These people need to see these genocides who are killing the domestic animals should be removed, and they should go back home. This is something that the world should unite with us to make sure that we hold the Congolese accountable, that these people who are dying, Congolese government should not feel safe as long as it is committing atrocities.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Willie Manzi, all the way from Canada. Of course, a Congolese residing in that particular country has just informed us. Others are also residing in America as well as in Canada. Thank you for your time, and of course, we wish you all the best in your endeavor. And here in the studio, we had Bonfields Muhumure, a journalist. Thank you for making time for us, and we wish you all the best when it comes to what is happening at the DRC. And of course, we as a country will continue praying for that particular nation as the pleas that are going to be taken outside the United General Assembly will be heard at the end of the day. Now, that concludes our first segment. In the second segment, we'll be focusing about all climate. You do remember what happened in the ACSA 2023, where the country made a declaration that they will talk about carbon credits. Of course, this is a new phenomenon, not just here in Kenya, but in Africa. What does it mean, and how, as a country, have we ensured that we have furthered this particular goal of carbon credit? And at the end of the day, how is it helping the community? We're taking a short breather. Don't go too far.